I was kind of always doing art. There was never really a reason for it. But when I got to high school, I started doing art with the idea that I could do it professionally. I really enjoy nature, and I feel like the things that we see in nature kind of connect us in a way to God. When I look at like sunsets and like widespread vistas and that sort of thing, I feel like the Lord is an artist, you know, and this is his way of telling us that miracles happen and great things are possible and that sort of thing. And I kind of want that to come through in my artwork. I feel like I owe it to whoever made all this to appreciate it and to, you know, show that I appreciate it to the world. I think there are people who need to remind other people to look around. After high school, I didn't want to do art as much, and so that was like a moment where I felt like I could give it up. But it's always something that I feel like if I don't do, I'm a significantly more unhappy person. Like I quit my last 9 to 5, you know, I liked the job, but it wasn't allowing me time to be in my studio. I kind of got to the point where I was just like, I'm not doing art enough. That's because it was like I need to do. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I want to go do art. No, it's like, this is what I need to be doing. Always do whatever it is that you feel like will work for you. You know, like it's important that you stick to what you're doing and do the thing that you like to do because you're uniquely yourself. Try not to think about the fact that there are people out there who are better at this thing than you are, because one day you're going to be great. When I'm in the studio and I'm like in the mood to work, I have an impression in my head or like a color scheme that I'd like to try out, but I don't have like what I'm going to paint. My underpainting is all just blended color. Maybe I'll cover the canvas in yellow or like do a yellow-white blend or something right in the middle and then expand upon that and just add colors as I feel they need to be added. But it's all very intuitive. In nature, things sort of just happen on their own. And so I try to keep that spontaneity going by not so much planning it out until later on in the piece when it's like, okay, this thing has already formed itself and now I can kind of just bring it forward. My mindset when I paint, because so much of it is so like intuitive and not really me thinking of anything, I'm actually in a state of meditation when I paint because my mind is completely blank. I can paint for like 6 hours and not eat or drink anything and not realize it until later on. I'm never in a bad mood when I paint. I'm just enjoying the process. I like the process of painting, probably even more than the end result. Having time to be in my studio has made a world of difference as far as like my practice goes and the way that I paint has changed. And since I've done that, my life has become pretty much all about art and it's pretty great. I would like to eventually end up with gallery representation, traveling, you know, to do artwork, and then maybe eventually getting my stuff into a museum. I don't really need to be famous as much as I would really, really, really like it if there were people in different places from different backgrounds who were connecting to my work. I feel like there's enough horrible in the world, enough bad stuff, enough really terrible things going on, that if I can do something to make somebody smile or to make somebody feel really good, then that should be my goal. The biggest challenge is doing what you want to do. When you do have the autonomy to sort of do what you want to do, people who can't do what they want to do have an issue with it. To do what I want to do, to like create something because I want to create it, and to, you know, go into the studio and paint something because I feel like painting it, and then to show it to people and be like, this is what I felt like making today, and here's this little bit of me. The reason that we don't want to put our stuff out in the world is because we're afraid that somebody's going to say that it's not good enough or that somebody else is doing it better. I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, oh, you need to, you know, be painting every time you open your eyes, or you need to be drawing every 2 seconds. You don't need to do all that. But when you work, you need to work like you mean it. Don't get up halfway through a piece and not finish it despite having time to do so because you don't feel like it or something. If you don't feel like working on one piece, work on another one. You know what I mean? Like, just make sure that creative energy is always flowing and do what feels right. Study the thing that you want to do and learn about it. And then learn about a bunch of other stuff too. As an art major, I had to take just a host of things that you wouldn't think are related at all to painting. But all of that stuff together influences what I do, and it makes my work that much more interesting. It is important that you understand these different aspects of stuff, because if I decide tomorrow that I would like my painting to be more sculptural or something, I know how to do it because I studied it. So you won't ever be limited by what you don't know. If you have an art teacher that you really like, or someone who is doing, you know, really, really great work and you want to know how to do it too, ask them some questions. If someone asks me, oh my God, how do you do that? First off, it's a compliment. because that means that you think I'm doing something that you can't do, and you think I'm doing it really well. I do think that there's a certain amount of energy that you bring to the table, a certain amount of your spirit that goes into the things that you create. And sometimes that stuff reaches out of your paintings and it touches people in a way that they can't be touched otherwise. And so like if a painting can do that, then I'm gonna keep painting until I have enough to populate the world.